Hello there, everyone. We currently stand on the dawn of a brand new era of console gaming. The next gen is upon us. We'll have it by the end of the year. What are you personally excited for? Are you excited for the PlayStation 5? Are you excited for the Xbox Series X? Are you content to continue playing your Nintendo Switch? Or are you just happily watching this all play out from the sidelines whilst playing your PC? None of the answers are wrong. We all love video games, and today we're going to talk about the coming of the next generation on this brand new episode of When Beards Collide.
Hello, everybody! Welcome back to When Beards Collide. Admiral Redbeard
We're doing it again
with my buddy Ben, Big B.
You remembered.
Of course I remembered.
I appreciate that.
I mean, I did have to watch the last episode to edit it a little bit, so...
I thought I'd like riff a little bit and call you stuff like Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln?
Or Broseph Gordon-Levitt. Who knows?
Well, that's fine.
I'll throw some things out there.
Yeah, that's fine, Bohemian Rhapsody.
I like it.
Dude,
Already I like it.
I mean, if you want to go about that, I have a meme in here where I could go down a fucking list. I've saved these.
Okay, well, let's not. I don't want to challenge you to that battle. You win. I'm not.
A couple of years back, a couple of me and my friends, actually, we would call each other, like, it would be like Dragon Ball Z names, but with bro in front of it. So it'd be like Broku, Brohan, Brogeta, Master Broshi, that type of stuff, yeah.
They all work with bro in front of them,
which
is a ridiculous thing.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we are here again because, well, people really seem to enjoy the first episode. I was very happy with it. Definitely a lot more views on the Beardo Benjo channel, as we would presume, but that's fine. I don't mind at all, because I love having this type of engagement. I love just sitting here bullshit with you, man.
Same.
Yeah,
I'm happy to do it consistently and constantly.
As much as we possibly can, and which, you know, Ben was 2 hours late today, which is fine. I'm not going to hold it against him by any means, but I got to watch like 8 episodes of Naruto waiting for you, so I was cool with that.
It's a win-win for everyone. I knew you wanted to watch Naruto today, so
I got all
kind
my
of
stuff done, and then after I'm done with this, it's back to Ghost of Tsushima, dude.
I did it on purpose.
Nice,
I did it for
nice.
you.
You know what? Thank you for looking out for me, Ben. I really appreciate that.
Anytime.
Well, what are we talking about today, Ben? I think something big happened yesterday, or well, whenever this releases 2 days ago, wasn't it?
Something happened. Something
about
about
the Nintendo
video
Direct
games.
Mini. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it is.
I actually don't want to talk about that at all during this.
We're not talking about that at all. I didn't even watch
That
it.
broke my heart. As I always do, got myself overhyped for something, and then literally nothing came out of that was of any use to me or of any excitement to me at all. So we'll leave that off the table. Well, but there was another event.
There was another event, and it was the Xbox Showcase.
There was.
We finally have both the big PlayStation event and the big Xbox event out now, and we can now talk about next gen. Now, this isn't just going to be Xbox, PlayStation. There are going to be some other things involved with what we go over tonight. We have no structure, as you guys have probably realized already. But we're going to be talking about next gen and what we're excited for. And I will tell everybody right away as well, we're capping this in an hour. It's going to be an hour. I swear to fucking God it's an hour. If it's not...
As soon as we hit...
Yeah.
As soon as it hits 10 o'clock here in the UK, I'm just going to hang up the call. I don't care if there's an end.
It'll just be me sitting here just talking, like, constantly, just continue. Like, I won't even realize he's gone.
Peace out.
Yeah, right? It's just like, you went for another hour? It's like, I thought you were there. So,
1 hour.
With that being said, let's get the elephant out of the room right now. No Silent Hill again. I had to say it. I'm sorry. Ben, you made the tweet of what you're most excited about, and I honestly, and this isn't even a joke, to be honest, I hold out hope that either Sony or Microsoft will have it as a first-party game in some fashion, because...
I won't spend too much time crying about Silent Hill, but I could spend hours crying about Silent Hill.
I think we'll do a whole episode where we just cry.
We could do a whole episode about Silent Hill. It just seems so... It seems like such the perfect time for someone to capitalize on the success of that. There are people that want that game. There are a lot of people who want that game. And, Resident Evil right now is just hoovering up the money, knocking out remake after remake, new installments. Everyone seems to be capitalizing on that except for Silent Hill.
Yep.
The Last of Us 2 just dropped, and it is it is a survival horror game, you know, and it sold an incredible amount. You'd think that whoever the hell owns the rights now to Silent Hill, I assume it is still Konami.
It is still Konami. I've had an Indiegogo page since PT was canceled to buy the rights. Only I've put $20 in. Yeah.
Dude, I'll send you another 20.
Okay,
I'll
put the link in the description. There's no Indiegogo. There's
It surprises me, and it doesn't surprise me because I know what Konami are like, and I thought they would have kind of looked at the landscape right now and gone, there's a demographic that's calling out for this game. We can fill that demographic, and we can give people Silent Hill. It's my own fault for getting excited and hoping and dreaming that we were going to get this.
One day, it's going to happen.
One day we will.
Yeah.
One day we will. But there were a few kind of announcements that I really hoped for.
Yeah, but we'll move into that now. Because,
Xbox event, yeah,
basically, and I missed the first 20 minutes of it. I did go back and watch it after the fact because I was at work. Fortunately, for the last 40 minutes of the event, nobody came into my store, so I was good to watch the rest of it. Kind of like when I popped into your Last of Us streams, and I was just like, "Get the hell out of here! I'm watching my buddy Ben." So, I mean, we won't go over every single fucking game. Right, because I mean, there was like, I believe it was like 28 different games were totally announced, 5 new first-party,
20-something, yeah.
Yeah, 5 new first-party games, and there was like 1 or 2 third parties were still in there. Let's start off with the big one, man. We will go about this first, like, because we'll talk a few about the games about the showcase. Halo Infinite. We kind of had a little bit of a talk on Twitter yesterday in my Discord chat with some friends. It got a little heated. What'd you think, man?
I think, oh man, I sat back. I just said to you a moment ago, but for the purpose of this chat now and capturing it on camera, I sat up last night until about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just watched the trailer kind of over and over. And the trailer's available online now in 4K, 60 frames per second, so you can watch it in the best quality possible. I sat and watched it through a good few times. And then I had kind of a lot of thoughts, and I just sat and I just turned my mic on, turned my camera on, I just spoke for about half an hour about the way the game looks and why it might look that way. And the kind of the question I posed was, because it doesn't look great. If you really dig into it, you know, it looks fantastic in motion. If you watch it running, and them actually running around playing that game, it looks absolutely stunning in motion. But if you see the screenshots,
those very smooth,
extremely smooth. Yeah. But if you see those still screenshots, the still images, they don't look pretty.
The memes were on fire yesterday for it.
The memes were on fire. There's already that kind of brute gorilla face doing the rounds online. He's everywhere. He's become an overnight celebrity because, but it's a strange. I've already spoken about it quite a lot, but it's a strange one to me, Halo, because immediately when they started running that demo, I was hyped and I was really excited, and you can see I did a reaction to it. I was very excited. I was like, "Oh my god, this looks like Combat Evolved. It looks like classic Halo. It looks like it runs like classic Halo," and I want to play it. And the bottom line is, when it comes out, I will play it, and I'm certain I'll enjoy it. I'll have an absolute blast.
It's a Halo game. I mean, honestly, say what you will about a few of them, and I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of 5. It's one of the only games I do play on my Xbox. I would say not consistently, but enough. I mean, Halo is Halo. I know exactly what I'm getting into. I know exactly what it's going to be about, and I love the story. I love the story of Halo. It's actually the big reason that I play it. The gameplay looked fantastic to me. It looked fun. It looked like Halo. It seemed to be smooth. I could definitely, even on the stream, it looked 60 frames to me. It didn't seem juddery. But yes, I mean, sure, the graphics themselves were a little textures and such, but that doesn't bother me. Like the biggest reason it actually does bug me is only for the reason that we're going into next gen. And I don't need every game to look like The Last of Us or Final Fantasy VII or Ghost of Tsushima. Like, sure, these games are beautiful. They have their art style. This one does, exactly as you said, look like Combat Evolved. It looks like original Halo with more graphical fidelity. But I can understand why people are upset. I don't like it when people get so upset, like, you fucking ruined Halo, you did this and that. But I can understand to a point why they're saying the things they are. And then I saw the video later that day with the trailer, with the graphics looking a lot smoother and cleaner. It's not the final game. graphics can take quite a turn in the last couple of months of it, but this is also something that I'll get into a little bit more when it comes to like the Xbox ecosystem and what they're doing and why I think that it is the way it is. But unfortunately for the Halo thing, I won't say I was impressed, but I got Halo, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah, same. I got a Halo game that looks like a Halo game that I want to play.
Yeah.
It took me back to my childhood when I played those games when they first came out. So I think they've really kind of leveraged and leaned on the nostalgia angle. Because when you see that color palette and the way the enemies look, and just it looked like the intro level to Combat Evolved. It really did. Where you first land on the Halo ring and you start exploring, it looked like that.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Obviously open world. Now for me, like again, I'm much like you. I play everything. I play the indie games made by one person, right up to those AAA, $500 million budget Last of Us 2 extravaganzas, and graphics don't make a game good. They just don't. They help immerse people into an experience, sure, but they're not the be all and end all of a good game. But I do understand why people are frustrated, because this was leveraged and shown as the ushering in of a new generation and the flagship for a brand new machine that Microsoft are going to want you to pay $400, $450, pounds, whatever it's going to be. And people have gone into that with the expectation that this thing's built for that machine, but that's not the case.
Right. And
this Halo is not built.
That was my point that I was going to say as well. Yeah. Let's get into that in a little bit, but that's, pretty much, I think that's pretty much summed up about Halo, for the most part, and I'm sure it'll come up again. But the overall Xbox showcase then, let's go into that. Does this Xbox showcase get you excited for next gen?
No.
Xbox? No?
And I don't want to.
I was gonna say the same thing.
No,
I was honestly gonna say the same thing. Now, there's a reason why, for me anyway, it does not get me excited, because I go into these types of showcases every year. Sony blows me out of the water, but here's the thing: Sony has always made the games that I fucking love. I love my God of Wars. I love my Last of Us. I love Ghost of Tsushima. Like my third-person action-adventure, semi-open world type games. They give me those.
You're Uncharted, etc., etc.
Yes, Xbox doesn't make those games. They don't make those types of games, which is absolutely fine. And I think that was solidified in this event this time, where they're basically looking at everybody and they're going, "You want those games? Go for it. Go play them on Sony. We're gonna give everybody a possibility to enjoy a type of game on our platforms in the long run." Because the fact is that they just want you to be part of the Xbox ecosystem. They don't care if you're playing on the Series X, the Xbox One, Game Pass, PC. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I've listened to Kind of Funny talk about this over and over again on their Kind of Funny Games Daily. That's what they're doing. We're going to be getting another version of the Xbox Series X, which is codenamed Lockhart, if you haven't heard of that, which will be the cheaper version. We don't know anything about it yet, but that's what it's going to be. I love the idea of Game Pass. I love the idea of what they're doing with that. There were a few games in that showcase that I'm like, I want to play this. Will I buy a Series X for it? No. I'm going to dust off that old Xbox One sitting over there. Big old dust cloud. That's just for me, though. And I'm going to play a bunch of these games eventually. Or I'll man up and play them on my goddamn PC right here.
And that's it. You've nailed it. I can't really add too much more to that, but like...
Took the words right out of his mouth.
You just sucked him right out.
It's our wavelengths, dude. I'm telling you, we're like, we literally are in sync all the time. Let's start a boy band.
NSYNC, literally.
Yeah, was that a bad joke? Was that a bad joke?
You're right. See yourself out. I'll finish this off, man. Don't worry.
See you, man.
Peace. Like Microsoft's event, if you just look at Microsoft's event alone, didn't get me excited for next gen, because according to their event, I'm already there. I'm already living in next gen, because those experiences will all be available on Game Pass. And like you just said, they don't care if I buy an Xbox Series X. They're not interested. They just want me to be part of their ecosystem. Mm-hmm. They just want me to subscribe to Game Pass or have an Xbox One or have an Xbox Slim. They just want me to be participating in the experiences they're making. They don't care how I digest them. I'm sitting here in front of my PC right now. This will be where I play Halo Infinite. Right. So are you. Yeah,
I actually have this all hooked up to my PlayStation 4.
Oh, fuck.
It's weird. It took a long time.
But this is where I'm going to sit and play Halo Infinite.
Right.
Like, I don't need to run out and buy a Series X.
And you're more
this will
of a
do it for me.
PC player when it comes to it anyway, and that's why even that type of stuff really works for you, because like the idea of them coming to Windows 10, do you have it? Do you own an Xbox One in any capacity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, bit of background for me. So I was the store manager of a game store for about 12. I worked for the store for about 12 years.
Oh god, in the UK, I know the name of them.
It's just game.
Just Game. Yeah.
It's just game.
I mean, I watch a lot of Achievement Hunter, and Gavin Free always talks about it as well. So I knew that. I fucking knew that.
Big bold letters.
Yeah.
Just game. But I worked there for about 12 years, and most of my work in life. And for a big period of the time, I was the manager of the store. And being in that position, one, the discount was pretty good, and two, you'd occasionally get given these machines. So I'm lucky enough to have an Xbox X, a Switch,
X too. Nice.
and a PS4 Pro. So I have all the consoles. Mm-hmm. So as a bit of a disclaimer, like, it doesn't, regardless of how I come across or how both of us come across in this, I have no allegiance. I don't have any say in any of it. I've got no kind of investment in any of them. I just love video games, and I'll play the video games where they exist.
I'm with you, man. I mean, that's why we're doing this podcast. I fucking love video games so much.
I just love video games.
Now, I will say that I've always had more of an allegiance to PlayStation. I will be that person here. I am definitely more of a fanboy when it came to it. But like I said, I bought an Xbox One because there was a ton of games that were coming to it when they announced it, and I was excited.
Yeah.
One came out that was super buggy. One got canceled. And then Cuphead came out, and now it's on the Switch. Scalebound.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be Scalebound.
I was
still sucks.
Looking forward to that game. Like, I remember me and my wife sitting watching that E3, and I went, I'm buying an Xbox One for that. Like, like one game will do it for me in that sense, you know? It's I mean, hell, if I were to say it, I'm probably not at launch going to buy a Series X coming out here because of the Windows 10 and the Xbox One. But there is one game that I, like, it was not a system seller for me, but it could be. And that was Medium. The Medium. That horror game, the seamless, like... Seamless
switching between the two worlds.
Like, legit, it started and I went, it's Silent Hill.
Same.
I did the same thing
and
with
I'd
Stalker
seen
too,
that.
But...
So Stalker, when they announced Stalker, I actually said out loud, I was like, Stalker?
Yeah.
But that was so far...
I watched your react on it because I had a feeling that once you saw the opening of that trailer, you would either say, like, you would either know, because I don't know what Stalker is. I've never played it, but I had a feeling that you were going to be like, is this? There's no way. That it was going to be Silent Hill. And I wanted to see you say it so I could be like...
Well, I was leaning towards Metro for the longest time. I know that's kind of stereotypical because it was obviously set in Russia and it looked very kind of.
Right,
and I was like, oh, is this Metro? And then I thought, well, it's too soon for a new Metro, surely. And then I kind of started to lean towards Stalker.
The end of last year, I think.
End of last year, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. I could Google it, but I'm not going to do that.
Stalker looked great. Obviously, just a cinematic trailer at this point, but interesting that it's Xbox launch exclusive because Stalker was always a PC fronted franchise. But obviously,
who's the developer of them? Because that must be the ones that they bought, right?
I honestly can't remember.
I have a list up here.
You'll have the information.
Over a decade
I don't think it's a studio.
Over a decade after the last Stalker game hit PC, huh? It's not. It doesn't tell me straight up who made the game, but that'd be my guess. But Jesus,
possibly.
I don't know about Stalker 10 years ago. Christ.
Well, this is it. I mean, and then this again, if I keep feeding back to their point of Game Pass, but they've got this game now which was synonymous with PC and will have a large PC fan base, and those people, when they see Xbox launch exclusive, will understandably be irked and will be frustrated. But then world premiere, and then
even better. Jesus.
Thanks, man. And then you've got Microsoft turning around and saying, "Well, no, just sign up to Game Pass and you can play on your PC."
Oh man, I will say this: the Game Pass idea is so beautiful, but it's gonna hurt developers in the long run.
Do you think?
I do, because it has actually. And I read a thread of this. I don't know if you ever listened to Kinda Funny by any means. They have, their video game news and all that. Imran Khan posted a thread on Twitter about it earlier. About it's like the net. You know what? I'm actually gonna pull this up. I'm gonna pull this up because it's a really good point, and I don't want to. I'll shorten it as much as I can. But it just made so much sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, like, face value to me as a consumer, Game Pass is probably the coolest thing that's come out of Microsoft ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll keep paying for that subscription if it means I can continue to play their first-party exclusives, plus a whole host of other things, without even buying their machine.
Right.
Halo Infinite launch day, I can sit and play it without giving them, $60. I just got the game straight away. I can sit and play it on my PC. Blair Witch was the same. Blair Witch came out, played that on Game Pass day one. Carry On from Devolver Digital, currently playing that. That just dropped on Game Pass straight in. And it's those kind of things that just make me think, for a consumer, it is the best value in gaming 100%. Currently.
And that's actually what he says. I found the tweet. All right.
Go for it.
This is from Imran Khan from Kind of Funny. Well, he's a subcontractor to Kind of Funny. And he says, so after sitting on it for a bit, I have two recurring thoughts on the Xbox show. Number one, the argument of everything here will be on Game Pass is compelling and a ridiculous value. And number two, Game Pass reliance will be a double-edged sword and eventually give way to the Netflix problem. To expand, this is a thread, so I'll try to make this short. Basically, what he gets at is like Game Pass is only going to grow as it becomes the centerpiece of the Xbox experience. Of course it was. It's crazy having all these first-party and third-party games available on this service, but as it gets bigger, issues of scale arise. If Game Pass is what the system largely revolves around it, then the market's expectations for those games in that system will be that they're on Game Pass eventually. If you're a third party, and Microsoft asks for you to be on Game Pass, the smart answer should be, you have to pay me as well. Because the difference is the Netflix problem, which comes into play, is what he goes into, is this is why Netflix eventually went to original content, because the creators weren't making... Netflix was
enough
making
money
more
for
off of the subscription than they were for the movie. So just like he said, just like you said, for value for a consumer, it's insanity how good.
Mind blowing.
It really is, and it's nice to see a company being able to do that. It stinks that when especially when it comes to not even just indie creators, but all these put it on Game Pass. But it's like, how much are they making? Are they able to? It doesn't become like Steam. Like, put it up. Who cares? It's on Game Pass. Who gives a shit? And then you just have this enormous amount of games that it's like, who plays them? So it can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I look again, sitting in front of my PC right now, and I'm looking along the bottom of the screen, and just from glancing here, I've got Steam, I've got Epic, I've got GOG. I've got Bethesda, I've got Rockstar, I've got Uplay, I've got Origin, I've got Battle.net, I've got Amazon Games, I've got the Oculus launcher, and I've got the Xbox Game Pass launcher. Now that is an incredible amount of launchers. Now factor in also, honestly, it's ridiculous. Factor in the fact that Epic give you 1, maybe 2 free games every single week.
Yeah.
Factor in the fact that Steam pump out sales where games are £1, £2, and you just think, I wanted to try that. Yep, I'll grab that. Then factor in the fact that you're paying £6 for Xbox every month, and they're giving you, 300 games to sit and play. Mm-hmm. Where does it end? How do I pick what I want to play? I'm consuming more than I can ever physically play at this point.
That's always the case when it comes to video games, right? I mean, I have a catalog on just my PlayStation account of over 274 games.
It's crazy.
I have downloaded and bought digitally over the years, counting the PlayStation Plus ones. I go through it every once in a while, like when I'm having that, I beat a game and I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I just go. Every time I look at that Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I still haven't beaten, I just go, start it.
One day.
Yes,
one day you'll finish that game.
I'm sure one day I will. It's just I do it all the time. I'm not saying that there's too much content out there by any means. So many people have played these games that I haven't played. It's worth every second, but that's another problem.
Do you devalue the games, though? A bit like Netflix. So when you sit there in front of Netflix and you've got a wall of content that you can scroll through for hours, are you devaluing the individual value of that content by giving you everything in that wall? So Xbox Game Pass has incredible games in it, but is the value kind of stripped away because it's just lumped in with everything else, and it almost becomes...
I don't think I've ever
meaningless.
I don't think I've ever really thought about it that way. So I would say I don't. But
harken back to I don't know how. I mean, do you still buy physical games?
No, I've stopped. Besides my collector's editions, and that's just because of the convenience.
If you harken back to a time when you would go to a game store and buy a physical game, that physical game that you just laid out, money, physical, that means a lot to you. You know,
Yeah.
you bring it home in your bag, you put it on yourself, you unwrap the cellophane. It's a special thing. You give it a sniff because it smells nice. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that means a lot. The value of that game that you've gone and purchased yourself physically is bizarre, but it's higher than if you just give $6.99 to Microsoft, load up an app, and go 400 games sitting here.
You know, I've never thought about it that way. I really haven't.
Things kind of sink into the. So it is incredible value for the consumer, but it's almost overwhelmingly so.
Yeah.
Have you ever just sat on Netflix and just scrolled through how many things are on Netflix?
God, yeah.
It's some of that could be absolutely fantastic, but you don't see it because you're blind to it because there's so much content, and you just look at the kind of the new stuff, and
it's the same concept with games or anything like that, because like when you're on Netflix, right, what do you look at mostly nowadays? You look at the Netflix originals. They're high budget, very well made productions that Netflix has put out, and they haven't had a lot. I mean, they're all bangers, not all of them, but there's so many good ones out there. Same thing with games, right? What gets swept under the rug? I mean, when you have games like we've had so far this year, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Cyberpunk's fucking coming out. My cat's howling in the background. I really hope you can hear that.
Just a little bit. I thought it was actually a child, but I could hear it just slightly.
I hope there's not a kid here. Oh, God.
There could be a kid somewhere in the room.
I'll get him. But it's like, you know, like these big AAA games, like, there's so many other things out there, but all I care about is those. Like, after I beat Ghost of Tsushima, I keep saying, I'm like, I don't have anything to play until, like, Assassin's Creed comes out or Cyberpunk. But there's so much else out there.
The truth is, there's so much out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, to kind of bring it back to the next gen conversation, I guess.
I was going to try to.
Game Pass is, for me, as a consumer personally, Game Pass is the best thing Microsoft have got.
Yeah.
Because it keeps me invested in what they're doing. It keeps me invested in their ecosystem, and it keeps me giving them, I think it's like £6 a month or something like that.
It's something like that. I don't have it myself,
you know,
but yeah.
I will continue to give them that as long as they continue to drip feed me content that I don't play.
Sure.
Like, it just sits there. But I'll pay them because I understand the value proposition, and I'm like, yeah, that's great value. But I won't run out and buy their machine. But I will run out and buy a PS5.
Yeah, I mean, now here's the next question about that, right? I mean, I was gonna buy a PS5 probably regardless of what they show me. That's just where I honestly am. I haven't decided if I'm doing the physical or the digital edition. That's going to depend on price for me. I do still love physical copies. I buy them when I get the collector's editions of games because I borrow them to my friends because they don't buy as many games as I do because I'm a whack job. So I do that for them. I get a collector's edition. I buy 2 copies of it. I have 2 copies of Last of Us. I have 2 copies of God of War. I do. I don't mind doing that. And I love to support even the big companies that make these games for us. But what was it that with the PlayStation showcase, because we can lead into this a little bit, why are you buying a PlayStation 5? Like, because when you look at, for an example, the exclusives that they have shown for launch titles, I believe there's like 3 launch titles for, here, I'll list them for you real quick, okay? So for the Series X, the launch titles that they have said, Halo Infinite, The Medium, and Tetris Effect Connected. Those are the 3 launch title exclusives, right? So,
okay, yeah.
Halo Infinite, really big. Obviously, that's Halo. The Medium looked fucking fantastic. Tetris Effect, Tetris is one of the biggest games in the world of all time. I'm not a big fan, but the game looks great. Now, here are the exclusive launch titles for the PlayStation 5. Spider-Man Miles Morales and Astro's Playroom. That's it. Isn't that funny?
That's it.
Like when you think about it, like my big reason for buying a PS5, and I've said this before, I don't know if we talked about it, but as I've played Last of Us, Ghost, Final Fantasy, God of War, I can't wait for the PlayStation 5 version of the game. And it's so funny. I can't wait to play those again, hopefully by next year on that system with all of that. I can't wait for Miles Morales. Astrobot, I don't give a shit about. I can't wait to get my collector's edition of Assassin's Creed Valhalla and then play it on my fucking PS5 in a couple of months afterwards. But as far as the exclusive launch titles, sure, Miles Morales is fantastic, but that's why I'm buying a PS5. And it's kind of the same idea of Xbox, right? They have Gamepass. They have all these games that you're going to be able to play on the other systems. Why am I not excited to play those on my Series X? Right? Like, I thought about
Yeah,
this all morning, and I went, "What the fuck
I
is
can
up
tell.
with that?" But I'm
Shit.
not. I'm not buying a Series
Yeah.
X at launch. I will buy a PS5.
Why? That's the question.
That is the question. Why?
For me, the answer is so super simple, and it's purely because I can't play those games anywhere else. I just can't. They don't exist anywhere else. I loved Spider-Man on the PS4. I absolutely adored it. It's one of the games my wife completed 100%.
Nice.
She got so involved in it, and I want to be able to play the next one,
Yeah.
and I want her to be able to play the next one. And it doesn't matter what you think about exclusives. You know, whether you think they're bad for the consumer. You know, why are we forcing exclusives?
Yep.
They sell machines.
They do.
You know, the simple fact is they sell machines.
Yeah.
It's the reason they still exist. I will buy a PS5 because I know that I can't play, and it's not a launch title, but I know I can't play God of War anywhere else.
Yep.
I know that whatever Naughty Dog do next, I won't be able to play anywhere else. Spider-Man,
Yeah.
The titles they have
Yeah.
that are their titles, they haven't done what Xbox have done, and that's create an ecosystem and share them with everyone. So Xbox can do whatever they want. I'm happy for them to just carry on doing whatever they want, as long as they keep giving me that content that I can play on the PC.
It's a new game
It's
these
fine.
days. Like the industry
It's
is
all
changing.
changed.
This is actually part of like one of the last questions I put up. I don't believe that the console wars should exist anymore.
No.
And for the reason that everyone is doing their own thing now. Nintendo, the fact is Nintendo has been so far out from the game and doing their own great thing. They can do whatever the hell they want. No one's ever cared. No one gives a shit. You give me another Zelda game, I'm going to buy your system. You give me another Mario game, I'm going to buy your system. Mario Kart, let's go, dude. Like, you know it's going to happen, and they know it. And Xbox and Sony have done this dance for so long now. Sony's been around for longer than they have when it comes to game systems. Sony got their asses kicked when the 360 came out. It wasn't until like that last year that they turned it around, and then they destroyed them. And Microsoft continued to try to catch up, and then I think Phil Spencer is a great lead of that team, and the fact that they're now doing what Nintendo's doing, they're like, we're gonna go play our own game over here. You guys do that if you want. We're gonna go over here, and now everybody's on their own side. So who cares anymore? Play the games where you want to play them. Have fun with the games you want to do. If you want to play these awesome PlayStation exclusives, go get them. It's very possible. If you want to go and get an Xbox Series X, do it. But you don't have to. You can get on the Xbox One. I'll probably get that Lockhart thing, whatever the hell that ends up being. if it comes out rumored to be actually like $50, let's go. I can't wait for xCloud on that side of things, because there are games that to be able to stream, as long as it's not Stadia, which it won't be because that's a pile of garbage. You know, and then I have my Nintendo Switch with that. Like, everything is so unique, and they have all their own different games. That's why I don't think that war should be around anymore. I really don't.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I just do. And you raised a good point about Nintendo, and I was going to kind of cycle round to Nintendo a little bit later anyway. But
we're all over the place today.
we're always all over the place.
Fine.
When have you ever had someone come up to you, recognize that you're a gamer, and say, "Oh, okay, what are you, PlayStation or Xbox?"
Yes.
Okay, that's quite a common thing. I'm actually guilty of, when I was working for Game, I'd actually ask people that in interviews, and it wouldn't have any factor on whether they got the job or anything like that, but it was just kind of an icebreaker of, okay, what are you, Xbox or PlayStation?
Yeah.
Don't you think it's interesting that Nintendo have never been involved in that, just that one-liner?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, if there was ever a time, it was around the time that the first Xbox came out. And that was we were on the Wii at that point.
Yeah,
and we already.
But they've never been involved in that kind of
in that conversation
outright kind of. Yeah. What are you, Xbox or PlayStation? And it's always been that. It's always been, what are you, Xbox or PlayStation?
And then you get that
PC are off to the side.
Going PC.
Exactly. PC are off to the side doing what they want, and you know, I am a PC guy these days, more so than my consoles. I still play a lot of my Switch, because I think, a little bit like what the PS5 is going to offer me, the Switch offers me that same thing as well, and that's games that I can't play anywhere else.
Right.
If I want a Pokemon game, or I want Mario, or I want Donkey Kong, or I want Metroid, I have to own the Nintendo console. So they've locked me in with exclusives, and they'll always have me because of their exclusives. Mm-hmm. you know, if they keep making those games, I'll keep buying their machines. And PlayStation, if they keep making Uncharted level games as exclusives, and you know they keep making God of War games as exclusives, and they keep making Spider-Man games as exclusives, I'll buy their machines. And exactly what you've just said there is so true. Xbox have looked at that and gone, okay, we're just gonna do games as service,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna ask you to pay us some money every month, and you can play it wherever the fuck you want. You don't even need to own a console. You can play it on your mobile phone via the xCloud service, and just hook a controller up and sit there and play Halo Infinite.
And that's gonna probably be out by the end of 2021. Like, and that's crazy to think.
It's crazy to me, but and this is bringing it right back around to Halo. This is the kind of this is the thing that I think a lot of people, myself included, when I watched it and kind of had a little bit of a negative reaction, didn't kind of think about when the trailer was playing out in front of them. The knee-jerk reaction is to get mad because it doesn't look as good as you want it to look.
Right.
Because you want it to be a console seller. You want it to show you what the Series X is capable of. But that's not what Halo is. Halo's built to run on the Xbox One original, the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, the Series X, every PC under the sun with all different kinds of specs, and your mobile phone via an xCloud service. This game has to run on all of that, and it has to run fucking well.
Yeah.
So it's not about making it amazing and making it this knock it out of the park. Look what our Series X can do. Series X is powerful. I have no doubt about that. It's going to do some crazy things, but that's not what Halo's for.
Right.
Halo is a game that unifies everyone because it doesn't matter who you are, what system you've got, you can play it as long as you buy into that ecosystem.
Yeah.
And this is why next gen is, at this point, almost a farce.
Almost.
Nintendo aren't competing in terms of a next gen conversation. They're doing their own thing, and people are buying their machines, and they will continue to buy their machines regardless of whether they're competing graphically or innovation wise. Xbox are going this games for service route, and they just want you to give them some money and be part of that ecosystem. And Sony are the only ones currently really that are just doing the conventional. Well, they're not really. They're doing what Nintendo are doing, but they're doing that conventional thing of push the tech forward, make things look better, crisper, run faster, and get exclusives. So they've done the conventional console cycle thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you're right. It's a triangle now when it comes to those three, like the big three, as you could say. And everybody is, as far as I'm concerned now, they're all firing on all cylinders to do it. Whether you're excited about one or the other or not, it's like they're working. Everything is working in their favor now for what they want to do. And I love that aspect. I think this just brings out possibilities of higher collaboration, bigger turns in tech, more games of higher quality. I mean, there was even that thing like a year ago or something where Sony and Microsoft had like a big PR meeting or something about working together to work on cloud services. So who knows? There could be a lot of stuff running in the background. You'll see the blips on Twitter, you know, this and that of even the companies and the way that they certainly come off like, you know, kind of fuck you. But what happens if all of a sudden, which I don't actually think this is going to happen, but let's say hypothetically, what if Xbox Gamepass came to PlayStation 5? Think about it.
It was meant to come to the Switch.
And it's possible it still might. Think about that. If all of a sudden you're sitting there playing your PlayStation and I'm sitting here and I can go, wait a minute, you're telling me I can play Halo Infinite on my PlayStation 5?
It's fucked.
Then at that point, everything just changes. You get your exclusive.
Everything changes.
And then maybe Sony, with the help of Microsoft, if they use that cloud server, what if all of a sudden Xbox Game Pass turns into something different? It's not called Xbox Game Pass, it's just Game Pass, and now here's Sony games, Nintendo games, Xbox games, bam, wherever you want to play them. You want to play them on the world's strongest system of the Xbox Series X? Do it. You want the PlayStation 5 for the amazing load times and the SSD? Boom, do it. You want to take it somewhere? Grab your Switch, baby, let's go! Like,
it would be fucking incredible if that was the life we lived.
Like that's a dream, right? Like I don't actually think that's possible, but there's always rumors, there's speculation that could be a thing down the road, and that's going off of like you talking about like killer apps, like a little point you wanted to bring up. I would just love something like that, you know?
I would love something like that, man. I would absolutely adore it. I mean, my TV has a Netflix button. Yeah. Like, just a fucking button, and you just go straight to net. Imagine if your TVs came with like a fucking Game Pass button, and it was all to do with xCloud, and you just fucking you didn't even need a console. You just need your TV at that point, and an Xbox pad.
At that point, like, I mean,
bang.
I will continue to rip on Google Stadia, whatever the fuck you want to call it, because it honestly sucks. But I have a Google Chromecast Ultra upstairs. I can do that. I could have bought the controller. I could have done it. Nothing on that system made me want to get it. I wanted the controller just to fucking have it. You know, because I just be like, yeah, whatever. I got the controller. Big deal. But that's going to be the future, man. At least for Xbox. Maybe for Sony, it's not for quite some time. But as things change, because here's also the big thing. If Xbox and Nintendo are doing their own thing, Sony thrives off competition. What if the competition is no longer there?
This is very true.
If they're doing their own thing and there's no competition, it's like, come and buy our PlayStation 5. Everyone's like, yeah, I mean, we will. But, you know.
There's no rush. There's no hurry. There's no
hurry. There's no rush.
You're not being pulled anywhere else.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to become that. You know, I actually had that idea that, like, yesterday, I saw a tweet that there was a rumor that PlayStation was going to announce, like, another, like, big title after the Xbox showcase. And I was like, what a fucked up move would it have been if all of a sudden, like, and here's the trailer for God of War 2. Launch.
It would be
and then everybody would have been like, fuck Halo Infinite. Like, it would have just sparked it. It was a pipe dream. I'm just waiting for that. But it's crazy that top of competition might disappear. It's very possible. It might go away.
I think it will. I think it's slowly eroding. Not even slowly, quickly. It's quickly eroding because, and you can see it. You only need to jump on Twitter for 5 minutes and just scroll through some posts at this point to see that people don't like change.
Nope, they don't.
And I'm completely open to it as long as I get to keep playing video games. I don't really care what form they come in.
That's all I want,
but
man.
people on the whole are resistant towards change, and they're gonna gravitate towards that PlayStation 5 console because it's warm and it's familiar. It's
warm. I'll hold it.
Yeah, it's going to be so warm after it's running for hours because the fan system doesn't look great.
And we could have been PlayStation Xbox.
Oh shit! I have no capacity to do green lights unless I painted my bulb green, which my wife would probably kill me for doing. So.
I can do it real quick. Hey Google, turn on my lights blue. I don't know if
I hope it doesn't do it.
It didn't hear me. I don't think it heard me. I'm not going to try it again. I can do it on my phone.
I fucking love that.
That would have been great.
That's my favorite bit of this so far.
Yeah, it's fucking...
Leave it in. Don't you fucking dare cut that out.
No, I'm not going to cut it. Hey, why do you think I got everything set up the way I did, man? I ain't cutting shit. Like, last time that was a pain in the ass.
This is true. But yeah, it's familiar. It's comfortable. If you're a gamer and you've lived through the cycle of every 8 to 10 years, you run out and buy a new console because it's going to be faster, it's going to look nicer, and it's going to do more things for you, then that's extremely comfortable for you to adopt a PlayStation 5 at this point because they've shown snippets and CGI trailers and gameplay that looks fucking stunning, and you can look at it and go, that's next gen. That's what I want. And that's going to be comfortable to people. They can run out, get that, put it under their TV and go, that is an upgrade. Whereas right now, an Xbox Series X, the best thing they've kind of shown off really is still Halo. And if you're able to look at that and pick it apart and say, well, that still looks like an Xbox One game, and I've got one of those already, then people aren't going to run out and buy that machine. But honestly, that brings me straight back again to, I really don't think Microsoft fucking care.
No,
I don't think they care. I think they know that the Series X is going to be for a certain group of people. I don't know who them people are, but I'm certain we'll find them. I'm certain it's for a certain group of people. But I think they know in their hearts that games for service, man. Just give us £6 a month, and we'll keep giving you games.
Absolutely.
And
I will give £6.
We'll keep you in our pocket.
I need the UK
keep you in the system.
Yeah.
We'll keep you in the system, because as long as you're a cog in their system, they're still making money, and things are still turning and things are still happening, and they don't need to compete in that petty. 100%. We've made a better machine than you. You've made a better machine than you. It doesn't need to happen anymore, and I think that would be the best thing that could happen in the world, because the one thing that winds me up more than anything is people who play games shouting at other people who play games because they don't play the same games, and it absolutely kills me. It's always killed me. And coming from a background where I worked in a video game store, it is the most aggravating thing in the world, because you see it play out in front of you. People would come in and say, "Oh, you're not a fucking Xbox fan, are you?" And I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I am actually." And it's so hostile.
Who cares?
We all play fucking video games.
I don't give a shit. Like, sure, when I was a lot younger, I used to make fun of people for playing mobile games, but that's just because it was such a new thing. I did. And when I say make fun of, it's not like I looked at them and like, you're a fucking lunatic or a loser. I just be like, I just don't like mobile games. I'm like, I think they're dumb. And I still do. I don't like mobile games. I have 7 different Final Fantasy games I bought on this fucking iPhone. You know how many have I played? 0. Because I can't do it. I can't do it. You know? But
that's fine, because that's your opinion. That's just your personal taste.
If you want to do it, go for it. Like we've said like 10 times already. I love video games so much. It has become my life. It's all I have anymore. Like when it comes to like my personal hobbies, that's what I do. I play
video games, man. Yeah.
And I cannot wait. I honestly I can't wait to go upstairs after we're all done here and turn on Ghost of Tsushima because I've been waiting all week. I haven't played all week, and I'm ready to jump right back into that world because I've been having so much fun playing it, and I'm excited to enjoy the next probably 8 hours of just doing that again, and then waking up and maybe doing it again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the same. And I think the quicker we can kill off the console war mentality, the better. But I don't think it's going to go away. I think the consoles will disappear before the console wars will disappear. I think they'll linger on for so much longer.
Stigma like that is always going to be around, no matter what we try to do. The fact is that it doesn't matter. Like Halo Infinite comes out, best Halo game ever made, 10s out of 10s across the board, and then you're going to have all those people saying, yeah, well, fucking, Destiny by Bungie before it was coming to Xbox was way better, and it's just like, okay, cool. I'm happy you love Destiny. I love Destiny. I don't play.
This is the thing. It's so like two-dimensional, isn't it? When you see someone online say, I'm really excited for Halo Infinite, and then someone comes back at that with, like, fuck you, Ghost of Tsushima's better.
Right, like
the person that said I'm really excited for Halo Infinite, he could be sitting there like I am, playing Ghost of Tsushima as well. Like,
right.
You can love two things, and it's so bizarre to me that people can't understand that. And it's just
as we said before, the Last of Us thing. We don't need to shit on each other for things. My closest friends that they're all a part of the Ranovision crew, and like my wife and all that. Everybody's always been a PlayStation fanboy. When I met everybody, like our interests included the types of movies we liked and the games that we enjoyed. And like the single player story aspect that Sony always delivered. Like I converted pretty much all of my friends from Xbox to PlayStation because, I got them into GTA. We were all playing it, and then they started to enjoy other games on that system. They still had Xbox, and they shifted, And today they don't play the games that I do. Like I think I told you last week, they don't grab the single player games as often as I do. That's all I do. While my best friends are online playing Killing Floor 2 and Risk of Rain and like all these awesome multiplayer games, they're like, hey, come play with us. And I'm like, I'm gonna sit here and be a samurai. Like it's just what I prefer. And if anybody ever shits on me for that, I'm like, well, fuck you, man. Like what's the point of what you're doing here? Like I enjoy this, you enjoy that. It's cool. We can be friends.
And this is fundamentally it. It doesn't matter if you run out and buy a Series X on launch day. It doesn't matter if you buy a PS5 on launch day. It doesn't matter if you sit and continue to play your Nintendo Switch for another 3 or 4 years until they ever decide to do something different. Doesn't matter.
No.
As long as you're playing games that put a smile on your face and you feel like the time invested in them makes you happy, fulfilled, whatever, then that's fine.
Absolutely.
Keep doing that and just allow other people to do it on the platforms that they see fit, because we all like the same thing. It's crazy, man. It's like people who like vanilla ice cream going to war with people who like chocolate ice cream. You both fucking like ice cream. Just get on with each other. Like it's the same thing.
I'll
like,
throw my fucking ice cream at you before I let you enjoy that chocolate ice cream, you piece of garbage.
It's so weird to me.
Fuck you and your mint. When I was a boy, mint wasn't even available. All right, you understand me, son? Sorry, did I go a little overboard there? I can do that sometimes, but
but you see what I'm saying. It just
100%, man. I mean,
it blows my mind.
We always tend to get a little bit deep in these Windbeards Collides episodes, and that's just fine. We're here for you guys. Actually, we're just here to bullshit and talk about games, and so people don't yell at us.
We cover all bases.
Yeah,
We're neutral.
This is my conversation for the week about video games. I have others with some friends. We had, like I said, we had a long, fun one about Halo Infinite, and I was just blasting memes in the thing, and my buddy's just losing his mind. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm actually pissing him off now. He actually he commented on one of your posts, which I found was funny. His name's Michael. He's the one who said it looks like clay.
He inspired pretty much everything I said in my video last night.
Yeah.
I harken back to the clay thing 4, 5, 6 times because once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
You can't, yeah.
The gun is like a solid slab of grey clay.
Yeah,
there's no battle marks on it at all, but that's more about Halo. We could talk about Halo forever.
Yeah, so, I mean, here, we're about wrapping up, I think, you know, because Ben's going to literally deactivate in like 3 minutes.
Self-destruct.
Self-destruct. Like, there's a here, I have the timer graph. No, I'm kidding. That'd be hilarious. So, I think what we've come to the conclusion of, and if people want us to discuss more about certain things, let us know in the comments or find us on Twitter, because we could do another episode just like this. There's more games to talk about. There's more other things and all that we can go over individually. I just didn't want to waste time going game by game by game by game, you know, because that's another 2-hour podcast.
I think the discussion is more interesting when it's kind of broadly about what the power 3, the big 3 are doing, because it's a really interesting time in video games right now. There's a lot of great stuff coming out. A lot of stuff that Microsoft showed yesterday, 2 days ago, was stunning. And I'm really excited to play it. You know, there was not just Medium and Halo, but Crossfire X, I think it was called, looked pretty cool. It was kind of a first-person shooter, but Remedy are involved. The gunk looks great. That kind of looked a little bit like Journey to the Savage Planet, but kind of like a third person.
Yeah, a little bit.
There was some great stuff in there. State of Decay 3. I don't know if we need another zombie game right now, but hey, fuck it, I'll play it. You know, there's great stuff in there. There was great stuff in the Sony conference, and I'm sure when Nintendo come out and show us what they've got planned for the rest of the year, which we should be getting at some point soon, there'll be great stuff in there too.
Yeah,
there'll be great stuff coming out of all 3 of these. So we could sit and talk about the individual games for hours and hours and hours.
If you guys do want us to do that, let us know. Like, we can do it.
I'll talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do it.
You want me to talk about them? I'll talk about them.
It's just last week, Ben got in trouble from his wife for being on for 2 hours, and we don't want to.
It was longer than 2 hours.
I mean, I have nothing else to do the rest of the day, so I'm cool with sitting. But anyway,
you've got Ghost of Tsushima to play.
You're right, which leads us. Well, we don't really need to talk about it, as we're going to do at the end of every episode. What are we playing? Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm having a fucking good time. Although I will say to you right now, and you'll probably disagree with me and bat me away, I have a love-hate relationship with that game.
Oh shit! I wasn't expecting this. We won't spoil nothing, but please, yes, go ahead, real quick.
I think this is more just me. I think this is my issue as a human being, but I fucking love this game. But my attention span is abysmal when it comes to open world games. I'm playing it for like 2-3 hours, and then I turn it off and I walk away from the TV, and I'm like, yeah, that was a good gaming session. What did I accomplish?
Yep.
And honestly,
I'm with you.
I'm like, okay.
With you.
I did no fucking missions. I found a fox, followed a fox for a little while. Followed a couple of golden birds. That was good.
Yeah.
Dyed my samurai gear a new color. That was nice.
Oh, that's my favorite thing. Oh, I love it.
And just wandered about a bit. Like,
man, I'm with you on that, man. Like, legit. Like, I spent.
Is it too big?
No, I don't think it is. It's just there's a lot to do, and like, and maybe I think we'll do an episode on this when we've both completed it. But I'm with you. I played for 8 hours on Monday, and I was going for a certain mystic armor that was in the game. And I played, and I played for only maybe like 5.5, and I finished that, and I went, I'm good right now. Like, I was burning myself out. When I go upstairs, I'm story missioning it. I'm doing it because I want to get back involved in that, because there's so much.
That's what I need to do. I've done none of it.
I will give you a hint, and anybody who's watching, this isn't a spoiler, but a buddy of mine said, because he's further than I am, he's like, do everything you want to in Act 2, because once you go to Act 3, you can't go back. That's all he told me. So
okay, I feel more secure and comfortable with what I'm doing right now then.
Yeah, because it's not a spoiler. It's just more just like, hey, if you're doing story, caution to the wind. Once you get here, you can't go back to the end of the game. So, yeah.
Dude, I could do an entire episode of this just talking about. I don't know if age. I think age for me is definitely a factor, but how I want my games to be shorter as I get older.
That is definitely a conversation for another episode of When Beards Collide. Thank you all for joining us. It has now been
very much.
officially an hour. We did it. We did it. And as you can tell, we would keep going. But yeah, Ben, that's 2 episodes, dude. Look at us. We're doing a great job here so far. Seriously, let us know in the comments certain things you guys would like us to talk about. We're just going to kind of do these as we see fit, and just kind of blast them out there for you guys. And I'm going to be working on getting us some, we're going to get some original music made. We're going to get a graphic made. And I'm going to try to get these on iTunes and Spotify. I don't know how soon it'll be, but it's going to happen. We're going to get those up there because I know how to do that shit because I've been doing it for 7 fucking years. And
the format worked really well.
There is one thing I still don't know when it comes to iTunes or Spotify. I have no idea how to track analytics on them. So, no idea if anybody ever listens.
Fuck it.
But that is going to happen down the road, and you guys keep hitting that like button. Subscribe to Beardo Benjo or Rhino Vision, where I am. If you want more casual, just me and the guys hanging out playing video games, come watch us dick around. You want to watch some
good shit,
fun-ass shit that Ben does with some awesome indie games. Some, I think you just put up part 6 of Half-Life Alyx as well.
Oh man, I'm smashing through that game. I'm in love with that game.
So
that's
Ben's
immediately.
Go ahead.
Another conversation we need to have.
Oh shit.
Is a game of the year conversation because I've got 4 or 5 games that are coming into contention right now, and Cyberpunk and stuff haven't even come out yet.
Keep going,
so it needs to be later in the year.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I think that one's a little bit later because I think we have.
It needs to be later.
I was gonna say we probably have to wait for Cyberpunk for that.
We gotta wait. We gotta let Cyberpunk join this conversation.
Yeah. So
we'll be having this conversation with like Christmas hats on and shit.
We're writing episodes down. Like here we go. Oh shit. I'm tweeting it out, Ben. Everyone's gonna know. You can't stop me, asshole.